The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council stood like a mountain of stone and glass in the center of the star city of Halen. Thousands of lights shone on its tall pillars, and the air was filled with the hum of translation devices that carried the voices of 100 worlds. Representatives of every great and minor race sat in their high seats, each waiting for the meeting to begin. The council was old, older than most civilizations that now called it home. For generations, it had been the place where wars were settled, disputes were judged, and peace was shaped. The chamber was designed to impress anyone who entered, with its endless rows of chairs, its great dome that displayed the galaxy above, and its silence that carried more weight than words. On this day, the hall was full. The matter of Earth had brought everyone together. At the center, a tall being with silver skin and 4 arms stood to speak. This was Lothar, one of the senior voices of the council. His words echoed across the chamber. Reports confirm that Earth's outer colonies have been attacked by the Dravan Empire. Cities burned, trade stations destroyed, families lost. And yet, Earth has made no appeal for our aid. Their ambassadors sit among us, but they do not speak. This silence troubles us all. Murmurs spread across the seats. Some species leaned toward one another, whispering in hushed voices. Others watched the human delegation with curiosity. The humans sat in a row of simple chairs, unlike the tall thrones of the elder races. Their clothing was plain, their posture calm. At their front sat a man named Daniel, one of Earth's chosen ambassadors. He had dark eyes that seemed to measure every word spoken in the hall. By his side sat Myra, a quiet woman with sharp focus in her gaze. They listened, but they did not rise to speak. From the far side of the chamber, a delegate from the Koran, a reptilian race, hissed loudly. Humans are reckless and proud. They build colonies where they should not. The Dravan Empire has every right to act. Perhaps Earth has finally learned its place. Others nodded in agreement. For years, humans had been called the young race. They expanded quickly, built cities on frontier stars, and filled space with their trade ships. The older races saw them as noisy and impatient. A representative from the gentle Solari spoke with a softer tone. Still, is it not strange that Earth asks for no help? Every race before them, when struck by the Dravan, came running to this chamber, begging for fleets, begging for mercy. But Earth says nothing. They sit in silence. The words seemed to float above the hall. The silence of Earth was indeed strange. It was not the silence of weakness. It was something else, though few could name it. Daniel finally rose from his chair. The hall quieted at once. Many expected a plea for protection or a demand for justice. Instead, Daniel only said one short line. Earth has heard. Earth will answer. And then he sat back down. The council chamber filled with unease. What did those words mean? No request for fleets, no call for allies, only a promise that Earth itself would answer. Lothar's silver face showed no expression, but his voice carried concern. Ambassador, this is a council matter. Retaliation without permission breaks the codes of unity. If Earth moves on its own, it may face not only the Dravan, but the judgment of us all. Daniel looked at him, calm and steady. Then judge us when the time comes. The humans said nothing more. For the rest of the session, other delegates debated endlessly. Some argued Earth should be punished if it struck without the Council's blessing. Others warned that the Dravan would grow bolder if left unchecked. Still others dismissed Earth entirely, believing humans lacked the power to truly strike back. But through all the noise, the human row remained still, their silence unbroken. Their quietness unsettled even the proudest species. For in that silence was not fear. It was a kind of patience, like the stillness before a storm. When the meeting ended, the council members left the hall with unease. The galaxy had expected cries for help, perhaps even tears of desperation. Instead, Earth had offered silence and a warning. Far above, the dome of the chamber displayed the stars. Among those stars were Earth's colonies, scarred and waiting. Among those stars were fleets being prepared, though the council did not yet know it. And in the silent heart of the chamber, where the humans had sat without complaint, a truth was slowly taking root. The galaxy believed Earth was weak because it was young. The galaxy believed Earth would wait for permission. The galaxy was wrong. The Galactic Council did not see it coming. While delegates debated in their grand chamber, Earth had already moved. The moment the Dravan Empire struck Earth's frontier colonies, fleets of human ships were ordered into motion. They did not wait for approval, and they did not announce their plans. In secret hangars, warships lifted from dockyards. Engines roared, shields warmed, and weapons glowed with power. To the galaxy, humanity was still a young civilization. Their ships looked simple compared to the golden vessels of the elder races. Yet behind the steel frames and painted hulls were minds that had studied, tested, and prepared for years. The humans had never forgotten the raids on their homeworld centuries ago. They had learned that to survive, one must be ready. Admiral Ryan stood on the bridge of the flagship Resolute. His eyes moved across the star maps projected before him. The target was clear, the Dravan shipyard at Calrose, a world where half the Empire's warships were built. "We strike fast, Admiral?" asked Captain Myra, who stood at his side. "Yes," Ryan replied. "We do not wait. If the Council wishes to call us reckless, let them. The Dravan will learn today that Earth is not prey." The fleet of human ships jumped into faster-than-light travel. Blue trails cut across the dark sea of space, and in moments they emerged near Calrose. The Dravan were not prepared. They had grown too used to fear. For centuries, when they attacked, their enemies surrendered before striking back. They believed Earth would do the same. So their shipyard was barely defended, its orbital guards thin and scattered. The first human missiles struck without warning. Explosions lit up the void. Massive dry docks tore apart as fire spread through their frames. Ship hulls under construction cracked open, spilling burning debris across the orbit of Calrose. The guards scrambled, but the humans were already upon them. The Resolute fired rail cannons that launched solid steel slugs faster than light itself. The Dravan shields flickered and broke under the assault. Smaller human frigates darted between heavy cruisers, launching waves of drones that cut through enemy lines like arrows. From the surface of Calrose, the Dravan workers looked up in horror as their sky turned into fire. They had believed the Empire untouchable. Now their greatest shipyard was falling in less than an hour. On the bridge of the Resolute, Admiral Ryan gave calm orders. "Strike the command station. Leave nothing that can be used against us." A beam of white energy tore through the main station, breaking it in half. Pieces of steel and flame drifted into the endless night. Captain Myra turned to the Admiral, her voice steady but carrying a note of awe. "They never expected this. They thought we would hide behind the Council's rules." Ryan nodded. "That is their weakness. They think rules protect them. We only have one rule: if you attack us, you will regret it." Within 3 hours, the shipyard at Calrose was gone. What once supplied half the Dravan fleet was now a field of wreckage. Human ships pulled away, regrouping beyond the system. They had lost a few smaller vessels, but the Dravan had lost a foundation of their power. Across the galaxy, news spread like fire. Trade stations carried the story. Couriers carried images of the destruction. For the first time in history, the Dravan Empire had been struck on its own ground and not by one of the old powers, but by Earth. When word reached the council chamber, the delegates were stunned. "This is madness," shouted the Coran representative. His scaled face twisted in disbelief. "The humans dare to strike an empire alone? They break the order of this galaxy." Some argued that Earth had doomed itself. Others whispered in shock. the Dravan would surely come with all their fleets now, burning every human world in revenge. But not all voices spoke against them. A delegate from the small Miran species leaned forward, her eyes wide with wonder. They struck back. No one has ever dared to strike back like this. For generations we suffered under the Dravan. And the humans did what we only dreamed of. In the human row, Daniel sat silently once again. When asked to speak, he only said, "Earth warned you. We do not beg. We do not bow. We answer." The chamber fell into uneasy quiet. Outside, the galaxy watched closely. The elder races called Earth reckless. The weaker races called them brave. And the Dravan Empire, once so proud, now tasted fear for the first time. For Earth had shown the galaxy something new. Not just defiance, but power. The fall of the shipyard at Calrose spread through the galaxy like a storm. Every station, every trade route, every channel carried the same message: Earth had struck the Dravan Empire and won. The news was not just a report, it was a shockwave. On distant worlds, small species gathered in secret halls and whispered to one another. For generations, the Dravan had ruled by fear. No one had dared to strike their home systems. Their power seemed endless, their fleets unstoppable. But now one of their greatest shipyards was gone, reduced to fire and drifting steel by the hands of humans. The Miran, a fragile people with golden eyes and thin frames, spoke quietly in their cities. One elder told her people, "If the humans can fight back, then maybe we are not as powerless as we thought." For them, it was the first time in centuries they felt hope. The Koran, however, hissed in anger. Their leaders feared Earth's rise. If humans can break the order, one warlord declared, others may follow. The council will lose control. Chaos will come. Yet even among the Koran, there were whispers envy of Earth's courage. The Solari, gentle beings of water and light, debated among themselves. The humans strike without asking, one said. But can we blame them? When we were attacked, the council delayed, and our colonies burned. Perhaps the humans are not reckless. Perhaps they are free. Meanwhile, the Dravan Empire itself boiled with rage. In the capital halls of their world, commanders shouted, demanding revenge. Admiral Vorak, one of their fiercest leaders, slammed his claws on the table. These humans are nothing but children with sticks. And yet they strike us as if they were our equals. We will gather the fleet. We will burn every human colony until their world is ash. But deep within the Dravan, fear was beginning to grow. They had fought many enemies, yet none had ever dared to hit them first, none had destroyed their power so quickly. They wondered what else the humans had prepared. Back in the council chamber, tension filled the air. Delegates argued louder than ever. Some demanded Earth be punished for breaking the law of unity. Others quietly admitted they admired Earth's defiance. A representative from the small and quiet Varan race finally spoke after hours of debate. His voice was soft, but it cut through the noise. You call the humans reckless. You call them dangerous. But tell me, when the Dravan struck their colonies, where was the council? Did we protect Earth? Did we send fleets to defend their homes? No. We debated, as we always do. Perhaps that is why the humans no longer wait for us. The hall fell silent at his words. Even the elder races could not deny the truth. The council had delayed. The Dravan had attacked. Earth had answered. In the human row, Daniel and Myro listened, but again they did not argue. They did not shout. Their silence was more powerful than words. It was a silence that forced others to fill it with their own doubts. Outside the chamber, fleets moved. The Dravan prepared for war, gathering their armada to crush Earth. But the humans also moved. Hidden bases lit up in distant systems. Carriers launched patrols. Supplies and weapons were sent to frontier worlds. It was as if Earth had been waiting for this very fight. In the streets of neutral worlds, common people spoke of humans with awe. Merchants whispered, "They are not like the others. They strike back." Refugees from Dravan raids told stories of Earth's courage. Children in far colonies looked to the stars and dreamed that their own people might one day be as fearless. But with admiration came fear. Some races worried what would happen if humans grew too strong. If a young race could challenge the Dravan, what might they do to others? The balance of power was shifting, and no one could predict where it would lead. On Earth itself, the people were united in purpose. Factories worked without rest. Engineers built weapons faster than ever before. The memory of burned colonies was fresh in every heart. Families sent messages to soldiers, reminding them of what they fought for. There was no need for speeches, the will of the people was already steel. In orbit around Earth, Admiral Ryan stood once again on the bridge of the Resolute. He looked out at the fleet gathering around him. "The Dravan will come," he said. "They will come with all their strength. But they do not understand us. They think fear will break us. They are wrong. Fear will only sharpen us." Captain Myra nodded. "And when they arrive, we will show the galaxy what humans can endure." The Admiral gave a small smile. "Not only endure. We will show them what humans can do." Across the galaxy, the stars waited. Fear spread, not just in the Dravan, but in every race watching. The humans had done what no one expected. They had turned fear itself into a weapon. The galaxy was no longer the same. The galaxy waited for Earth's next move. Some thought humans would stop after striking Calrose, that fear of the Dravan Empire's armada would hold them back. Others believed Earth would now come begging for allies. But Earth did neither. Instead, Earth spoke. Across every major station, every trading hub, and every neutral channel, a single transmission appeared. It carried no music, no banners, no grand symbols. It was simple. It was direct. The screen lit with the image of a ruined colony. Smoke rose from broken cities. Towers lay in pieces, ships burned in orbit, and the ground itself was scarred by fire. These were not enemy worlds. These were human colonies, attacked without warning by the Dravan. The cries of survivors echoed faintly in the background, their faces pale and shaken. The galaxy watched in silence. Then the images changed. New pictures appeared, showing the Retaliation at Calrose. The shipyard that once built the pride of the Dravan fleet was now a graveyard of broken steel. Great structures floated apart in pieces. Fires raged across what remained of the orbital platforms. A voice finally spoke. It was not loud, but it was clear. It was the voice of Ambassador Daniel. "You saw our colonies burn. You saw our people fall. You saw the Dravan strike without mercy. We asked for nothing. We begged for nothing. We acted." The words rolled through the transmission with a steady calm. "Understand this. If you strike Earth, if you strike our homes, we will strike back. And when we strike back, it will not be with whispers or delays. It will be with fire." The message ended. No plea for aid. No request for council approval. Only a statement of intent. The reaction was immediate. On small frontier worlds, people cheered. Many who had lived under the shadow of the Dravan felt a new kind of hope. "The humans speak for all of us," one Miran elder told her people. "They show that the great powers can be challenged." On wealthy central worlds, rulers frowned. They saw danger in Earth's message. "This is how wars spread," muttered a Solari leader. "If every world begins to act on its own, the galaxy will fall into chaos." But even those who disapproved could not deny one thing: the message had power. It was not just words. It was backed by action, by burning proof that humans were willing to fight. In the Dravan capital, the message was met with fury. Leaders smashed their tables, roaring that Earth must be crushed. Admiral Vorak shouted, "They shame us before the entire galaxy. They dare to show our defeat like a wound. Assemble the armada. We will erase them from history." The Dravan prepared their fleets, but fear still lurked beneath their rage. For centuries they had been the hunters. Now, for the first time, they felt like prey. Back in the council chamber, silence filled the air after the broadcast ended. Delegates shifted uneasily in their seats. Never before had a young race spoken to the entire galaxy in such a way. Lothar, the silver-skinned elder, finally broke the silence. "They act outside our laws. They challenge our order. But none can deny this truth. They speak with strength." Some delegates demanded punishment. Others whispered admiration. Still others simply sat in shock, realizing they had underestimated Earth. Ambassador Myra finally spoke for the human delegation. Her voice was calm, but it carried through the chamber with steady weight. "Earth does not seek war. But if war is brought to us, we will not hide. We do not want your pity, and we do not want your permission. All we want is simple respect." Her words echoed against the walls, leaving many without reply. Beyond the council, the people of Earth watched their leader's message with quiet pride. Factories kept working. Fleets kept moving. Soldiers trained harder than ever. For them, the message was not just for the galaxy. It was also for themselves. It was a reminder that they were not powerless, that they could fight for their survival. On the Resolute, Admiral Ryan stood with his officers as the broadcast ended. He looked out at the stars, where enemy fleets were surely gathering. "They heard us," he said. "Now they know. We are not silent. We are not weak. And we are not finished." Captain Myra replied, her eyes steady. "The galaxy wanted to see how we would answer. Now they have their answer." The Admiral gave a slow nod. "Then let them come. We will show them again." The message of fire had been sent. The galaxy had heard it. And nothing would ever be the same again. The Dravan Empire did not wait long. After the fall of their shipyard and the broadcast of Earth's message, they gathered the largest armada the galaxy had seen in generations. Thousands of warships rose from their docks. Battleships longer than cities, carriers that carried swarms of fighters, and cruisers armed with heavy plasma cannons filled the void. From the Council's central observatory, representatives watched the fleet's formation on great star maps. Gasps filled the chamber as the red lights of Dravan ships spread like fire across the screen. "No young race can survive this," muttered one delegate. "Earth will be crushed within days." But the humans remained calm. Ambassador Daniel, seated in silence, only said, "They will come. And we will be ready." On the far side of the galaxy, Earth's fleet prepared. Admiral Ryan stood at the center of the command deck aboard the Resolute. His officers watched the incoming reports of the Dravan Armada. "They outnumber us 10-1, Captain Myra said quietly. "Their ships are heavier. Their guns are stronger. If we face them directly, we will not last." Ryan nodded. "Then we do not face them directly." He turned to his crew. "Activate the hidden stations. Deploy the gravity nets. Prepare the ambush points. The Dravan believe only in strength. They will expect us to fight head-on. We will not give them what they expect." Across the frontier systems, hidden human outposts powered up. Mines floated into position. Fields of artificial gravity, created by clever engineering, were placed along narrow space routes. Weapons were hidden inside asteroids, waiting for the signal. The battlefield was being shaped not by numbers, but by strategy. The Dravan Armada arrived with thunder. Their ships filled the stars above the frontier world of Terran, one of Earth's colonies that had been rebuilt after raids. Admiral Vorak himself commanded the fleet. His voice roared through the comms. Today we erase the humans. Today their courage dies. The battle began. Dravan warships advanced in a massive wall of firepower. Their cannons lit the void with red and orange streams. Smaller human ships darted forward, taking heavy fire. The galaxy watched, certain that Earth would soon break. But then the trap was sprung. A signal flashed across the battlefield. Gravity nets hidden near the star suddenly activated, pulling Dravan ships off course. Entire lines of cruisers collided with one another as their paths twisted. Human missiles, guided by the sudden pull, tore into their weak points. Explosions filled the dark. From behind asteroids, human railguns opened fire. Slugs of steel punched through enemy shields. Fighters launched from hidden hangars, swarming around massive battleships like hornets. Admiral Vorak snarled, but his fleet was already in disarray. "Hold formation," he shouted, but the Dravan were not used to chaos. They had always won through sheer force. Against Earth's clever traps, their size became a weakness. On the Resolute, Admiral Ryan gave sharp orders. Cut their supply lines. Strike the carriers. Do not waste fire on their strongest ships. Break their support, and their strength will crumble. The humans obeyed. Instead of trying to destroy the enemy battleships head-on, they struck at the vessels that fed and repaired them. They targeted communication relays, leaving parts of the fleet blind. They ambushed carriers, burning them before their fighters could launch. One by one, the Dravan's advantage slipped away. The council chamber grew restless as they watched the reports. Delegates who had expected Earth to be destroyed now leaned forward in disbelief. Ships that should not have survived were turning the tide. Fleets that should have been crushed were tearing the Empire's armada apart. A Solari elder whispered, "This is not strength. This is something greater. This is human will." The battle raged for hours. Explosions dotted the skies above Terran. Human ships weaved in and out of enemy lines, taking losses but never breaking. Every destroyed vessel seemed to buy time for the rest. And every moment that passed, more Dravan ships fell into the traps laid by Earth. At last, Admiral Ryan gave the order. Focus fire on Vorak's flagship. End this. A wave of missiles, drones, and rail slugs struck the massive Dravan command ship. Shields shattered. Armor broke. The great vessel cracked under the force. Before it fell, Vorak sent one last message. "This is not over. Humans cannot." The transmission ended in fire. The flagship exploded, sending shockwaves across the battlefield. The Dravan fleet, leaderless and broken, began to retreat. Ships scattered, leaving wreckage behind. For the first time in history, the Empire's armada had been defeated. On Earth, the people cheered. Across the galaxy, smaller races wept with joy. And in the council chamber, silence once again ruled. No one had believed humans could stand against the Empire's might. Now they had not only stood, they had won. Ambassador Myra rose to speak. Her voice was calm, but every word struck the delegates like thunder. "You thought we would fall. You thought we would beg. You thought we would break. You were wrong." The chamber had no reply. For the galaxy had just witnessed the turning point. Humanity, the youngest of civilizations, had faced the greatest armada and survived. And survival was only the beginning. The defeat of the Dravan flagship sent shockwaves through the Empire. The armada, once a symbol of fear across the galaxy, began to crumble. Without their leader, ships scattered in confusion. Commanders bickered over orders, and communication lines collapsed. The empire that had struck fear into countless worlds now faced its first real defeat. On the capital world of Dravara, Emperor Korvac watched reports pour in. His eyes, once cold and commanding, now burned with anger and disbelief. "How can one young race defy us?" he demanded, slamming his clawed hand on the table. We are the strongest. We are the rulers. And yet they have destroyed our fleet and humiliated us before the galaxy. Advisors spoke quickly, suggesting punishments, retreats, and negotiations, but the emperor could not hear them. Rage filled the halls. The empire that had never known defeat now faced a question it could not answer: how do you fight a species that refuses to bow? Meanwhile, humans did not pursue the Dravan fleet blindly. Admiral Ryan studied reports from across the battlefield. We strike only what threatens us, he told his officers. We are not here to destroy a civilization. We are here to protect our people. Human ships moved strategically. Supply lines were cut. Command ships were disabled. Strategic outposts were taken without bloodshed when possible. It was a war of precision, not chaos. Every action sent a clear message: Earth retaliates, but Earth does not seek unnecessary destruction. On frontier worlds, colonists cheered as Dravan forces withdrew. The once terrified populations now dared to rebuild. Children ran through streets that had been scarred by war, their laughter echoing above the ruins. Markets reopened. Farmers returned to fields. Humanity's will had inspired not only fear in enemies, but hope in those oppressed. The galaxy watched closely. Reports from neutral worlds described the collapse of Dravan fleets, the careful strategy of human forces, and the precision of their strikes. Even council delegates who had doubted humanity began to speak in quiet tones of respect. A Varan elder addressed the chamber, her golden eyes wide with admiration. The humans fight with courage, intelligence, and honor. They do not destroy blindly. They act with purpose. We have underestimated them for too long. In Dravara, Emperor Korvac sent envoys to the council, pleading for intervention. You must stop the humans, he demanded. They defy all rules. They strike without permission. They will ruin the balance of power. The council, however, hesitated. No one dared step between Earth and the Dravan. The humans had shown that they would act independently, and the consequences of interfering could be worse than letting events unfold. Across the galaxy, whispers of Earth's power spread. Weaker civilizations, long under Dravan control, began to consider rebellion. If one young race could stand against the Empire and win, perhaps they could find courage too. Alliances shifted quietly. The galaxy's old order began to tremble. On the human side, Admiral Ryan convened with Daniel and Myra aboard the Resolute. Korvac will seek help, Daniel said. Many races may still join him if we appear weak. Ryan shook his head. We are not weak. We fight only for our homes and our colonies. Strength is in defense, courage is in action. Let the galaxy see that we do not ask for permission, but we also do not destroy without reason. Myra nodded. And the message is clear: anyone who strikes at us will face consequences. Earth protects its own. By the time Dravara itself came under human observation, the Empire was fractured. Its fleets were scattered. Star systems that had been under strict control now resisted openly. Supply chains were broken. Colonies once terrified now dared to communicate directly with Earth, offering support and information. The Dravan Empire, once feared as unbreakable, was exposed as vulnerable. And through it all, humans maintained their discipline, acting with precision and focus. They had no desire for conquest. They had no wish for glory. Their only goal was the safety of their people and their colonies. The council met again to discuss the events. Representatives from every race were silent as images of broken Dravan fleets and liberated colonies were shown. Finally, Lothar spoke. The humans have done what no one expected. They have defended themselves with strength, wisdom, and honor. The Empire is broken, not by endless war, but by the courage of one race. This is a lesson we must remember. Daniel rose once more. His voice carried calm authority. Earth never sought war with the Dravan. They chose it for us. We acted to defend our people. Let the galaxy learn that even a young race can stand, and that courage cannot be measured by age or size. The chamber fell into stunned silence. No one had ever heard such words. No one had ever seen such results. For the first time in history, the Council realized that Earth did not follow rules, councils, or older powers. Earth followed its own code. And the galaxy would never forget it. The dust of battle still floated across the frontier systems. The Dravan Empire, once feared as unstoppable, had been shattered. Fleet after fleet had been destroyed or scattered. Supply lines were broken. Colonies long under terror were now free. The galaxy watched in awe and fear. In the Grand Chamber of the Galactic Council, silence reigned. Delegates stared at the human ambassadors. Earth had not only defended itself but had shown the galaxy a new standard. The humans did not seek revenge beyond what was necessary. They did not ask for permission. They did not boast. They had acted with purpose, courage, and precision. Ambassador Daniel rose to speak. His calm voice carried through the hall. The Dravan attacked our colonies. We defended ourselves. We acted to protect our people and the frontier worlds. Earth does not seek war beyond what is needed to survive. We do not ask for permission from the Council to defend ourselves. We do not bow to fear. And we will not stop until our colonies are safe. A murmur ran through the chamber. Some delegates whispered in fear. Others in admiration. Many could not believe that one young race had accomplished so much. Myra stood beside Daniel. Our message is simple. Respect Earth and its colonies. Protect them if you can. Attack them, and you will face the consequences. That is all we ask. For a long moment, the room was silent. No one spoke. Not because they disagreed, but because they had nothing to say. The humans had acted. The humans had shown strength, courage, and honor. And they had done it without cruelty, without needless destruction, and without seeking glory. Outside the chamber, news spread faster than any words could travel before. The galaxy learned that a young civilization had changed the rules. Humanity had proven that age and size do not determine power. Courage, intelligence, and unity could defeat even the most feared empire. On neutral worlds, the whispers began. Traders, scholars, and ordinary citizens spoke of Earth. They are fearless, one said. They are clever, another added. Perhaps the galaxy has underestimated them for too long. In the ruined Dravan capital, Emperor Korvac struggled to maintain control. His fleets were scattered. Systems had begun to rise in rebellion. Colonies long under terror dared to speak freely. The empire he had built on fear was broken. His advisors argued for surrender or negotiation. But the emperor was too proud. He still believed that one day, the humans could be defeated. Yet even he could not deny their strength. Back in Earth orbit, Admiral Ryan looked out at the frontier worlds. Ships patrolled quietly. Supply lines were secure. Colonies were being rebuilt. Humans had not only won the battles, they had strengthened their future. Daniel and Myra joined him on the bridge of the Resolute. Myra spoke first. The Council will not forget this. Neither will the Dravan. We have shown them what humans can do. Ryan nodded. We did not seek war, but we have earned respect. The galaxy now knows that Earth will protect its own, and that courage can change the balance of power. Over time, the Council began to adjust its view. Humans were no longer seen as a young, insignificant race. They were recognized as a power that could not be ignored. Other civilizations began to respect Earth's independence. They also understood the lesson: even a young race, if united and determined, could reshape the galaxy. On the frontier colonies, life returned slowly but with new hope. Markets reopened, schools restarted, and families rebuilt their homes. Children grew up hearing stories of the battle and the courage of humans. They learned that strength was not measured by weapons alone, but by will, unity, and intelligence. In the council chamber, some delegates tried to speak against Earth, but few dared. The humans had acted decisively and honorably. Their words, their strategy, and their restraint left the galaxy in awe. Daniel addressed the chamber one last time. We ask for no reward. We ask for no territory. All we ask is that the frontier colonies are respected, and that our people are safe. This is the standard we set. This is the lesson we offer the galaxy. Courage, unity, and wisdom can overcome any threat. Even the greatest empire can fall when it underestimates those it believes are weak. The chamber was silent. The council could not argue. They could only watch and learn. And in the stars above, humans returned to their homes, their fleets standing watch over frontier worlds. The galaxy had seen the courage of Earth. The galaxy had witnessed a new force that could not be ignored. The lesson was clear: humanity had arrived. And the spirit of Earth would never bow to fear. The galaxy would remember this moment for all time. Earth had spoken. Earth had acted. And the galaxy, from the smallest colony to the oldest empire, had learned that courage, intelligence, and unity could change everything. Humanity had not sought glory, yet it had earned it. The council remained silent, the Dravan reeled in shock, and the frontier worlds looked to the stars with new hope. Earth's brutal retaliation had not only protected its own, it had taught the galaxy a lesson it would never forget.